Hello, my name is Michael McCabe and I'm Product Manager for RFID at Pepperl+Fuchs. RFID and other identification technologies like OIT are huge right now. And maybe you're slightly familiar with how they're used. In this presentation, I'll discuss the features and the benefits of these technologies, but also I'll go over a good bit of applications, my hope being it'll help you think of other ways to use identification systems in your own business and benefit from them. So I'm going to discuss two identification technologies which do really well in the market right now. The first is RFID, or radio frequency identification. And the second is OIT, which is a form of optical identification that works really well in high temperature and harsh environments. OIT actually reads a code off of a steel plate. You can see it on the right-hand side. Notice the holes in the plate. It's the layout of these holes which provide the information. OIT is fantastic, but does tend to be more application specific. And since this presentation is focused on a range of applications, you'll likely hear me reference RFID a little bit more. I am continuously surprised how RFID and OIT are adapted and used by people to improve their business. Looking at this slide, you see 10 different industries and applications where RFID and OIT are prominent. But as you look at this, you may say, well, I'm not in automotive, so I don't really care what they do there. Maybe that's not the way we should be thinking, because automotive might find a great way to use RFID that could also be beneficial in your business, in a different industry. Don't worry about remembering all of these right now. I'm going to go over examples later on. So is this technology growing or fading away into the darkness? Well, in 2016, the global identification market, that's all companies, not just Pepperl+Fuchs, was valued around $16 billion annually. By 2025, it's projected to double or almost triple, possibly reaching around $40 billion annually. That is a big surge in demand. It means companies are seeing the benefits and are going forward to implement this tech into their business. It's like that little branch on the right. It's growing upwards and will only get bigger and bigger. Now, P&F has a lot of applications that we've worked on, and I'll get into those later on. But before I go any further, I wanted to show some fun applications I found online. This helps to show just how widespread this technology already is and the unique benefits it provides. So first, if you've been to Disney, you should know that there was likely an RFID chip inside of Goofy's head. They have over $100 million worth of garments, and RFID helps keep track of them, saving Disney around $1 million annually. Next is the Mayo Clinic. Apparently, there's a need to track tissue. I'm not a medical person, so I don't know more than that, but I do know it saves them around $2 million annually. POSCO does the same thing, but tracks steel components, saving almost $17 million every year. And next, the Greenville Hospital benefits from RFID by finding expensive assets that are misplaced. Also, it helps alleviate their staff from doing mundane tasks. They save around $30,000 a year. By using RFID, the New York City Marathon lets families send and display messages to their loved ones as they cross that finish line. And last, R2A, a company making auto parts, says they now have a 100% accuracy when pulling parts and a 95% reduction in delivery errors. So first up, when do we use RFID? To help me explain, I'm going to make some comparisons to barcodes, which many people are probably familiar with. So, RFID holds up great in the dirtiest of environments. It's perfect for when line of sight is not available. For instance, with barcodes, you'd have to open up a box and pull out each component to scan a barcode. With RFID, we'll scan right through the box, don't even open it up. It works great reading through dust, the human body, water, and so on. And we can even find ways to get around metal, which is known for blocking RFID signals. In general, RFID and OIT are much better in tougher environments. Compare this to barcodes printed on adhesive paper tags, which can easily be destroyed. RFID allows you to read multiple tags at once, so if you need high throughput, it'll work much better than scanning barcodes one by one. Again, it's great to automate those mundane processes. It's good if you need the ability to not only read data, but write and update data as well. Barcodes only allow reading. Do you need better security, more data capacity, or longer read distances than barcodes can offer? RFID is used to help quickly locate items and ensure they get to where they're going as quick as possible. And last, RFID is perfect when you need to identify something but you don't know which way it's going to be oriented. That's not so easy with barcodes. Now, when to use OIT? I have some RFID tags which can handle pretty high temps, up to 250 degrees Celsius. That's hot. But OIT goes even further than that, all the way up to 500 degrees Celsius. That's almost getting up to 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, almost. So, if you have a really hot and harsh environment, like automotive painting, OIT may be exactly what you need. There's a great video I'll show later on, and it does a great job showing how it works. Now at Pepperl+Fuchs, we use passive RFID tags. That means an electromagnetic field sent from our read-write heads actually provides the power to the RFID tags, which then sends information back. As you can see on the left, in 1975, the first passive tag was created. So RFID is nothing new to Pepperl+Fuchs. After that first passive tag was created, we got on board quick. We've now been selling RFID solutions for more than 30 years. We started with low frequency systems, which are still in use today, and then to provide longer ranges, faster speeds, and higher data capabilities, Pepperl+Fuchs invested in microwave read heads, and then high frequency systems, and then of course, the game changer ultra high frequency. Our customers love the quality and the benefits of this system. To read and write multiple tags from long ranges with easy setup and great reliability was and is huge. I'm so happy that Pepperl+Fuchs takes their time to put out solid, well thought out products, because that's true for our latest product, high frequency RFID with IO Link. I can't begin to tell you how much work Pepperl+Fuchs has put into this system. Did you know Pepperl+Fuchs has vendor ID of number 1? You can see this on IO Link's website. Pepperl+Fuchs was the first company to submit an IODD file. We were there at the beginning, and we're still going strong. Even at the beginning of this year, Pepperl+Fuchs committed a whole week to training a majority of its employees on nothing but IO Link. And we're only getting better as time goes on. We're going to have ultra high frequency RFID with IO Link in the near future. That is going to be another game changer. There are lots of RFID systems, but they are not all made the same. So, what are our strengths? First, we are perfect in rough environments. We have some of the highest temperatures ratings in the industry. We can run a read head up to 1,000 meters away from its controller, and our equipment is strong, very compact, and very rugged. Noisy environments? Again, we do very well. All those invisible electromagnetic fields can become a real headache in factories. That's why we love using all metal construction, shielded cables, and grounding at multiple points. We don't want noise getting in or getting out. Also, you don't need to shop around because Pepperl+Fuchs offers the whole system. Not everybody does. And once you get it, we make sure you can install it easily. We give you hands-on display options, easy function blocks for the PLC, and our tech support is second to none. Lastly, if you've ever tried setting up an RFID system in a factory, you know it can be tough, especially an ultra-high frequency system which can send out a powerful and large read field. That's why we made it much easier. You can adjust the read-write range from very small to much larger. This makes sure that you don't read tags that you shouldn't be. In addition to this, using our system, you can even filter out tags that you don't want to see. Also, you're never actually sure what's going to happen on that factory floor. Maybe somebody loads a box incorrectly onto a conveyor belt, and now the tag's orientation is incorrect. Well, some systems might not be able to deal with it, but ours can. You can read a tag no matter what orientation the tag is in. And the last feature I'll mention for now is power sweep. What if something weird gets in between the tag and the read head? Or if something damages the tag? It's going to be harder to read that tag. So with power sweep, if the system is expecting a tag but doesn't see it, it can increase its power and read again and again up to 10 times until that hard to read tag is read. And again, OIT is suitable for high temp, harsh environments. Again, we have some RFID tags which are pretty tough, but OIT doesn't use a tag. It uses a steel code plate. The steel plate can withstand almost anything you see in a factory. The code plate itself is relatively small, and it usually attaches right onto the carrier. So for example, whatever is carrying the car body. Before or after the plate goes through the harsh environment, the OIT unit uses infrared lighting, a camera, and decoding software to read the code off of the plate. And you get almost 1 million different codes. Now I mentioned before our strengths, but I didn't mention the areas we typically don't focus on. So here are 3 quick examples. First, we use passive tags, but there are also tags that have batteries in them. These are good if you need really far ranges, like you would with a large shipping container, that are going to go onto freights across oceans. These tags do cost more, they require much more maintenance, and there are usually less options available. Next, some RFID solutions are just really specialized. So think of shopping at a place like Macy's. They attach tags to clothing to prevent stealing. These tags are specialized, and so are the readers that people pass by while leaving the store. And that solution works well for them. And P&F hasn't really entered that space. Remember, the bread and butter for Pepperl+Fuchs is industry, so manufacturing and automation. But now this is interesting because let's take a step back. You realize that even though we might not be in the Macy's retail store, we can certainly help out in their distribution centers. The last area we don't focus on is high security, something like passports. A lot of them already have really secure RFID chips in them. Again though, we're highly specialized in manufacturing and automation, and these really high levels of security just aren't needed. So here are the top identification systems that we offer. First, do you want an affordable, highly reliable system and short ranges are okay? Go with our high frequency system with IO-Link. The system is great if you want to improve your operations using real-time data. For example, do you want to know what exactly is the RFID head doing right now? How well is it doing? Are there any problems I should be aware of? This data is helpful, and there's a lot more than that. IO-Link has other benefits that I love, but I don't have time to get into them right now. Next is our very popular ultra-high frequency system. This is a standard in the industry. It has great range, anywhere from 4 inches up to 15 feet. You can read multiple tags at once, and again, we made setup super simple. Remember that you can filter out tags you don't want, increase power when hard to read tags show up, adjust power to create the best read field for your application, and read a tag no matter how it's oriented. And of course, our optical identification system. Do you need fast read times at extremely high temperatures? Then go with our OIT system. Now, this part in the presentation, I'm going to start talking about specific applications. Applications that have been tested over and over, and ones that P&F has great experience with. Make sure to think how you can incorporate these ideas into your own business. First, let's talk about the automotive industry. Going into an automotive plant these days, you'll notice it doesn't quite look like the picture up there on the right. The car in the front will likely be different than the car behind it, and that will be different than the car behind it. We have come such a long way since Ford only allowed one color of vehicle. Each car coming off the line now can be highly specialized. But let's think what that means. Let's say that a chassis pulls up in front of a person or a robot. The computers need to know and quickly communicate what needs to happen based on what the customer wants. For example, maybe they want tan leather seats. A tag on the chassis is red, and the computer now knows what the customer wanted. And as the tan leather seats arrive by another conveyor, just in time, the computer confirms yes, these are the correct seats. Maybe by reading an RFID tag that's in the seats, or whatever's carrying them. To produce customized items quickly, we need to know what we're building, how to build it, and then receive the correct parts as efficiently as possible. Using radio frequencies to identify a whole range of parts is crucial for quick and reliable manufacturing. The picture on the right actually shows cars lined up to be painted. The tag on the hood is red, and then a specific program is uploaded to the paint robots so that they know what to do. Yes, the robots need to know which color to pick, but also what path should the robot arm take to minimize the wasting of paint. Also, are there areas to avoid, such as sunroofs, among others? Now here is a really cool automotive application. A car chassis is big and heavy, and it's transported through the factory in a very clever way. It's basically hung up on a hanger, but a very sophisticated hanger. Based on where it is in the factory, this hanger can do different things. So for instance, at station 1, a person needs access to the exhaust system. So the hanger tilts the whole chassis onto its side to make it easier for the worker. Then maybe at station 2, a sunroof needs installed by a robot. So again, the chassis is turned over. That's why in the picture you see something that is circular, it's black and yellow. That's what helps to spin the chassis. This application teaches us a few things. First, this is a very noisy environment. Remember, this means a bunch of invisible electromagnetic fields, similar to what RFID uses, are attempting to interrupt one another. Fortunately, our systems work well in this environment. Next, the tags are actually mounted in metal. This can be tricky for some because metal reflects radio frequencies. We have good solutions not only for mounting in metal, but on metal as well. And last, this monorail conveyor normally doesn't stop. So, to read tags on the move is important. Not only are we good at that, but we can help you run the calculations and let you know what will happen if in the future the conveyor is sped up. Warehousing is huge and it's growing, and its workers are paid around $20 to $30 an hour. Over time, as space runs out, bottlenecks build up, and labor costs go higher and higher, reliable automation will be crucial. Some warehouses spend up to 50% on order picking alone, and even spending this much doesn't prevent errors. Wrong items are still picked, and others are stored away in the wrong spots. So with so much to do already, how do you improve warehousing? What if you need a system of first in or first out? Well, you know that I'm going to recommend RFID as the solution here. When it comes to warehousing, RFID can help you track when a product arrives and confirm when it leaves. It helps you correctly store product, knowing how many items there are, and when to order more automatically. It helps keep your customers happy because they receive the correct product on time. By using RFID, the warehouse will save money, get quicker, and increase available space. On the right-hand side, an RFID reader is on that forklift. When it picks up a pallet of product, it reads the tag. automatically the data could be sent wirelessly to verify that it's the correct pallet. If wrong, an alert could go off, and the correct location could be sent to the forklift operator. Now this shows a method to automatically refill parts. Lots of small parts can be used in production. So put RFID in the second row of bins. Then, if a bin's not there because you're about to run out of a certain part, maybe a stack light goes off and lets someone know to reload the part. Or a message is sent to logistics to refill the rack. Maybe an AGV could even retrieve the parts for you. This helps with just-in-time ordering, which really helps to reduce inventory costs. With our F190 head, you can read up to 40 tags in the field at one time, and you can do even more with our larger F192 head. In the examples shown, the tags could either be inside of the boxes or actually on the voltmeters to the right. It helps knowing where items are in a factory, and it helps to communicate where they need to go next. As parts move along to each station, data can be written to the tags saying either, these products are good to go, or maybe something is wrong and that should be documented on the tag. This is known as PassFail Criteria, and RFID helps document a lot of details while products are being manufactured and even beyond that. For a quick example, maybe a sensor sees that a knob on the voltmeter was installed incorrectly and now it's sticking up too high. An indication of this error could be noted on the RFID tag, which helps the conveyor know to send that batch of voltmeters to inspection. And here is a picture of what I just mentioned. If the tag indicates a product may have an error, maybe the conveyor routes it off to the left instead of going straight. It could even be more simple than that. Perhaps some products just need to go straight, while others have to go to the left. The point is, the information is stored on the tag, and it's updated, and it's read quick. These conveyors can go fast. You don't want to have to open up each box to figure out where it needs to go. That would be wildly inefficient. In this picture, tags could be inside or on the boxes, but more normally, they'll be on the bins themselves. Just-in-time manufacturing might also be called sequencing. I'll mention this again since it's so important and since RFID plays such a huge role. Here's an example. An automotive dashboard is delivered just as the people and robots are ready to install it into the car body. It comes right when it needs to and then goes directly where it needs to go. Imagine why this is good. You're not wasting space in the factory by piling up dashboards. You're not wasting time trying to locate one. And the chances of a dashboard being damaged is reduced. Some products involved in manufacturing may even become obsolete while sitting on a shelf. Hopefully, this can be prevented by using a just-in-time strategy. The money saved by having lower inventory and quicker turnaround times are not only important for big businesses, but small ones too. Small businesses might not have the cash for excessive inventory, so being smarter and more nimble is important. And yes, it takes more time and planning, but that's the level everyone is starting to operate at these days. The hooks shown here can really carry anything. I'd recommend our high frequency system because the tags which are in those hooks can get pretty close together. That's good for a short range system. This picture shows jackets on hangers, but I'm going to segue a little bit and talk about laundry for a moment. Some companies wash clothes and that's just what they do. They receive big bags of laundry from a customer, and then at that point a machine weighs the bag and then writes to an RFID tag how much the bag weighs. Often, the tag is sewn right into the bag. They can easily keep track of how much to charge the customer depending on how much they needed washed, again, based on how much it weighed. Another way of keeping track of laundry is by sewing tags directly into clothes. Hospitals do this a lot with scrubs. Machine access is another great RFID application. Is there a machine that only certain employees should have access to? Or maybe you want to log the changes that a certain person does. The end goal is to get complete accountability for a job. In the example shown, the RFID system plugs into the PLC, which is inside of that industrial housing. Our systems can do this easily, but not all others can, especially more standard commercial systems. Next, access control. This may be pretty self-explanatory. A long-range system like UHF could help track when someone enters or leaves. For example, maybe somebody is waiting on a delivery, so has that truck arrived yet? Here's one of the first RFID applications that we ever did. Machining centers often want to verify if the correct tool is loaded before the machine starts. If the wrong tool is in place, it could produce hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage. With RFID, if the wrong tool is installed, the machine won't start. The picture on the right shows RFID verifying the correct tool is selected, and on the left, RFID is also verifying which product is being worked on. Similar is how RFID is used on mobile equipment. Normally, tool exchange is a fairly intensive process. On the left side of the side, you can see 5 different tools laid out. Specific settings may be required depending on which of those tools is connected. With RFID, you can scan the tag and know which tool is connected, and settings could be set automatically. That is a big time saver. Also, customers can track how often each tool is used and then charge customers for that usage. That, or replace it once it's been used a certain amount of times. In the automotive industry, this is similar to robots and the different end effectors which are attached. Here's something else to consider. Is time wasted because tools go missing? Many companies are attempting to track important tools with RFID. There's a picture of tires in the middle, and that's because RFID lets companies keep data on the tire throughout its entire life. If something ever goes wrong with a tire, they can look back and try to pinpoint what went wrong and why. And to the right, I also have a picture of computer equipment because sometimes highly valuable items are stolen. Companies use RFID to help keep track of where they are. Now, we often don't mess with the containers on the backs of trucks, especially when they're shipped across the ocean. We just don't normally deal with such long distances. But we do use RFID for what is inside of these trucks. There are many expensive and unique ways to hold and protect product as they're being shipped. And customers want these expensive carriers back, so they need a way to track them. If lost, whole supply chains can start to degrade. So, for example, maybe there's a specific carrier for shipping dashboards. These carriers can easily cost thousands of dollars, or maybe a customer is shipping beer kegs or dangerous chemicals. Lots of solutions exist out there. And last, yes, RFID is huge where final assembly is done. But don't forget about all those companies making and delivering products to these factories. Tier 1 suppliers are a huge market for RFID. You just got a delivery of bleach. You have different vats on your property, each with different cleaning type chemicals. So, what happens if you mess up? You get sidetracked, and you start unloading the bleach into the vat that stores the ammonia. Not only could this produce a dangerous gas, but it could explode, leading to death. Now, I know that's a little extreme, but at the very least, you don't want to throw away large amounts of product due to a simple error. Again, we need to make sure the correct processes are followed. You can have people visually verify everything is okay, but time and time again, mistakes get made. The coupling station shown on the left has RFID readers installed, and the hose, shown on the right, has been outfitted with a green RFID tag. Once the hose is connected, before any valves are open and liquid is allowed to flow, the system needs to confirm, yes, this is the correct hose for this station. Now this looks weird, I know. That's why I saved it for near the end. But think about it. A large facility can process over 75,000 pigs a week. What if a food-borne illness breaks out? How do you take a package of pork and trace it back to where it was made? When it was made? Where were the carcasses stored? What farm did the pig come from? And what other packages may be infected? A tag can be placed into those stainless steel hooks. Then, while in the facility, the carcasses can be tracked and traced while going through each process. And these processes can be tough. Low temperatures, high temperatures, and water shooting out at high pressures, also known as washdowns. RFID as a technology works well in these settings, but especially our systems, which again, are built for tough environments. Also speaking of pigs, this machine makes sausage. Well, not exactly. It makes the casings, and that's what you shove the sausage filling into. Once this machine puts enough meat into the casing, it places a crimp on the end. Now, if you're like me, you would have never expected there to be RFID tags in those crimps. So why do they do this? For a couple reasons. The machine pictured cost a lot to make. The manufacturer probably won't make much money just selling this machine. Fortunately, they sell the crimps too, and a lot of crimps are used. So by placing a cheap RFID tag into the crimps, the manufacturer can be assured that only their crimps are being used, not some cheap knockoff crimp. This is a good thing, especially if the cheap knockoff crimps could damage the machine. Should the manufacturer have to go fix a machine when the customer used the wrong parts? Manufacturers spend so much time bringing a product to market and making sure that it works right. RFID helps protect this overall system. Customers benefit too. They don't want their whole supply chain to stop just because a machine goes down. They can rest assured knowing that they're using the right part from the right manufacturer, it's not out of date, and it won't damage their machine. Everybody wins. And of course, I've got to mention OIT again. It really works great in those high temperature environments. And it's that steel coat plate with holes that helps to make it happen. It can survive temperatures up to 500 degrees Celsius. But how does it work? Well, the first thing you need to know is it uses infrared light. The system contains LEDs and a camera, and of course, the steel coat plate, which is usually installed on whatever is carrying the car body or other equipment. The illumination unit flashes toward the coat plate, and the camera saves an image. Decoding software analyzes that image, and the OIT sends a response with a 6-digit number of that coat plate or an error message. This is great for paint booths, dipping processes, powder coating, and hazardous locations where cleaning agents or chemicals are used. And lastly, P&F finds some really neat ways to help customers implement RFID. Here are some of my favorites. First, by working with our PA division, we're able to offer RFID units housed in explosion-proof boxes. So, if you have hazardous areas, we have solutions. The RFID read-write head in the middle is in the shape of a ring. This is because a tire manufacturer needed to shove bobbins inside of that ring. We made it happen. And on the right, this is a low-frequency head that you can place in between rollers on a conveyor belt or besides the conveyor belt. Do you have a major need? Something you haven't found yet? Is there a huge market where RFID isn't being utilized yet? Let us know. And if you have questions, there are multiple ways to reach us. Our tech support is second to none, and we have lots of experts with the company who easily have over 20 years or 30 years of experience. We are here to serve you, so let's make it happen. Again, my name is Michael McCabe, Product Manager for RFID at Pepperl+Fuchs. And as always, remember that Pepperl+Fuchs is a leader in industrial automation. So click the subscribe button below to see the new industry-leading products that we come out with. And if I did a good job on this video, please click that thumbs up button so others can find it more easily. Remember, if we don't tell YouTube what's important by giving it a thumbs up, we're going to keep seeing only those shocking and crazy videos which can be fun, but they're not helping us to become the intelligent professionals that we aspire to be. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.